Josh Kaportakis from Michigan.
This weekend was insane. I'm not entirely sure how we got here, but let's just get into it. So we had planned to go to ROH's Final Battle months ago. This was planned out. We had our Airbnb booked. We had everything set for months. Everything was fine. There was no panic. There was no worry. There's no thinking I'm terrified. Until about 2 days before, when I got confirmation, we were going to be granted media credentials for ROH's pay-per-view Final Battle. Yes, me, the guy that did not know any of this existed about 2 years ago. Yeah, genuinely, before I even get into the story, thank you so much to whoever made that call, whoever within AEW, ROH that gave that the green light. Thank you so much, because I am so excited to tell this story. This was one of the coolest experiences I have ever had. I was so nervous. I was so terrified. I really just wanted to do a good job, and I really wanted to not have anyone regret giving me that kind of access, even if it's just the one time. So yeah, let's dive in. So this took place in Columbus, Ohio. We've got some friends down there. Some of you may know Johnny and Marissa from the channel Make Yourself Famous. You should absolutely check them out. They're super cool. They're super kind. They were kind of our hosts for this whole trip. They took us places to find places to eat, and we hung out with them pretty much the entire time that we were down there. Now, to break down the timeline here, we were going to be there for a few days. ROH Final Battle was going to happen on Friday. AEW Collision, which we also had media for, was going to be on Saturday. But this whole thing was going to be taking place during GalaxyCon. If you're not familiar with what GalaxyCon is, it was described to me as Comic-Con, but like maybe a little smaller. If Comic-Con is bigger than this, I don't want to go to Comic-Con, because this was so many people packed into not a small place, a big place. This convention center that this was at was actually pretty huge. Now, if there's any part of you that thinks I sound a little weird or a little bit off, you're right. I definitely got sick from being in this massive group of people for 3 straight days. Somebody, if not multiple people, went there sick, and I caught it. The convention had a lot of cool booths. There was, it was honestly, I've been to a lot of like trade shows, some trade centers. I've been to some smaller cons that were kind of like this. This was the biggest and coolest. There were so many tables with really cool stuff. If you're into nerdy stuff, if you're into video games, anime, comic books, movies, anything, and wrestling. There was wrestling booths there as well. This kind of thing is absolutely for you. Just maybe keep your distance or bring hand sanitizer so you don't catch whatever I caught. As a big Fallout fan, I found a table that had some really cool like handmade Fallout stuff from a video game like that I'm really passionate about, or at least I was growing up. So yeah, definitely check out something like GalaxyCon. But part of the reason it was so interesting is that there was actually going to be photo ops there. Some wrestlers, you could tell they were taking advantage of some people that were going to be there. I think I saw Scott Steiner was going to be there and a few others. I think Carlito was supposed to be there. I don't know if he ended up being there, but there was also some like voice actors or just actors in general from my childhood. So like there were some names I didn't like mark out for, but like it was kind of cool seeing them in person. So as a whole, that's my review of GalaxyCon. It was really cool. Now you're probably wondering, where was the wrestling? Well, it wasn't just like affiliated with GalaxyCon. It was at the convention center. I've never seen a wrestling show take place in a place like this. I've never seen. It was like in a ballroom kind of setting with just like obviously all the chairs. Like there was nice cushy chairs and stuff to sit on for like all of the seats, but the seating was also not numbered. There was no like you are in this row, this seat. The seats were paid for by wave. So you paid to be in wave 1, meaning you get to be in the first group that just to go in and first come, first serve, sit wherever you can. And there's wave 2, and I think it was a total of 3 waves. It was obviously a smaller venue, but it was a really cool venue. It was like carpet. I don't know. It's something about seeing wrestling in a place you wouldn't expect to, like not in a big arena, in a ceiling that's a little bit lower than you'd expect, not having a big arenatron over the middle. And again, thank you so much to whoever made the call to give us media passes, because we got really, really cool seats. I think we were like 3rd or 4th row from, we were on the hard cam side, and the view is just phenomenal. Now it came with the same usual issues you get when you're a few rows back on the floor. You kind of have to peek around some people, but other than that, like that just comes with the territory of sitting on the floor in any show. But the media credentials came with some more that we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. Now, while I would love to sit here and break down all of ROH Final Battle, that's probably not why you're here. And honestly, there was a lot of names I wasn't familiar with. I was learning as I went, and I was happy to see a lot of wrestlers for the first time. There were some that really stood out to me that I just thought, wow, haven't really seen much of that person, and now they were kind of on my radar. Zeta Steel was one that we had only recently seen on the Patreon. You should check out the Patreon, join for free if you'd like. But we just watched a Zeta Steel match over there, and to see her over at a pay-per-view like this, it was really cool. It was just cool seeing some people that maybe I vaguely knew or some that I'd heard of, but this was a really cool exposure to a lot of new names that personally I really just enjoy that watching these other promotions. Like, I feel like my first year plus of only watching WWE, I kind of got locked into this one circle of, you know, wrestlers to hear about, and now I feel like I'm getting into so many different promotions and I'm seeing so many new faces. It just makes being a wrestling fan that much more fun. It just, like, the fact that there's so many good wrestlers out there that all bring something to the table that probably have something for you to enjoy. This was a really cool pay-per-view for me, who is looking to continue to see wrestlers that I haven't before. One of the most fun moments from the actual pay-per-view was witnessing Mercedes Moné lose a title finally. Not that I was rooting for it, but, you know, it's been so long. Maybe this is going to be the start of the, you know, a bit of a waterfall just of losing titles. Maybe this is the one that kicks it off. I don't know. Something about even just watching her to root for her to lose. Even though I like seeing her win, she's just so entertaining losing too. So, like, good on her for just being a great performer. Another match I mentioned that was just really entertaining. Got to see Ricochet. So obviously, being a fan of AEW, was cool seeing Mercedes, seeing Ricochet. And Ricochet came really close to losing his national title. Like, honestly, it did not feel like he was in full control of that match. I really felt like Dalton Castle just had him up against the ropes for a majority of that match. So I'm not really sure how Ricochet pulled that off, but he did manage to defend his title, his first title defense with a national title. So that was really cool to see in person too. I also recognize I might be going through this a little bit faster than I normally would. Normally I'd probably talk a little bit more about the matches. So just want to throw this out here. Leave a comment, ask any question about this whole experience. I will answer it. If it's in the first like 24 hours of videos up, I will go through all the comments. And if it's a question within reason about this whole trip, I'll answer it there. This is not great. This is tough right now. Being sick sucks. So let's get to the part that you probably clicked on this for and that you've been waiting to hear about. Yes. So we got media credentials, not just for, you know, free tickets, but we were invited to participate and be in the media scrum after the show. Yeah. I can't tell you how nervous that made me. I can't tell you. I was like, what if they have me ask a question? How does it work? I've never seen one of these. Like, I've never seen like the behind the scenes of it. I don't know how this works. I don't know if they pick you. I don't know if you raise your hand. I know nothing going into this, but we're watching the show and Tally is kind of like nudging me a little bit. And she's kind of like, are you going to ask a question? You ask a question? All throughout Final Battle, I was sure I was not asking a question because I'm like, why would I? Like, there's going to be like these other news sources or whatever. They're going to be asking questions. Why would I do that? There's no way I should ask a question, right? But then I see Johnny from Make Yourself Famous. He's apparently coming up with questions throughout the show, and he's never done this before either. I'm like, okay, that's, you know, maybe I should think of something, but nah, he's probably got, he knows more about this than I do. Like, it makes more sense for him to do it than it would me. But I'll give credit to Tally, who just kept asking me throughout the show and basically nudging me into like, you should ask a question. You should ask a question. If you get the opportunity, you should have something ready. You should have something ready. So then I spent like the whole second half of the show kind of in between matches and sometimes during, like, trying to pick a question, a single question. And this is me not knowing who is going to be at the press conference, by the way. You don't know who's going to be there. You can just kind of guess that you get some champions or whatever. So I was taking the guess that Ricochet might be an option because he had defended his title. There was only so many titles defended on the show. And that's usually what I feel like I see WWE and AEW have available. It's usually people who have won a match, usually defending a title. Now, if you're not familiar, if you're kind of new to the channel, me and Ricochet have kind of had a little bit of beef lately. Frankly, I don't know what his problem is. He doesn't want me at shows. He's multiple times requested that security remove me, and he's made it very clear he just doesn't want to be anywhere near me, which I really don't get. So I figured maybe this would be an opportunity to kind of like rebuild that bridge between us and outstretch an arm and really see if I can make a connection and ask a very innocent question. Yeah, if I do say so myself. So I'm working it in my head. I'm like, I'm trying to think of a question, and dude, I was like rehearsing the question in my head for like 5 straight matches. Like I'm saying it in my head, and I actually was like, I kept like re-googling Dalton Castle's name just to make, because it's it's one of those things where, if you say a word too much in your head, it starts losing meaning. Well, I'm not super familiar with Dalton Castle, so in my head I was kind of like, I was saying it, and after a while it's like, hey, is that even his name? So I was in my own head for quite some time. So the show ends. They tell us to wait for the crowd to leave and everything. And they kind of turned the announce desk into a makeshift like press conference area, and we just sat in like the seats that were in front of it. So after a while, the first person comes out that's going to be taking questions, and it was Red Velvet. And Red Velvet had just beaten Mercedes Moné to take a title, so it makes sense she would go first. By the way, Tony Khan was also sitting at the table. That didn't help the intimidation factor, that they were just really important people to this company, like maybe 8 feet away from me, and there's a chance that I might be asking a question. I don't know. It was terrifying. But a moment of inspiration hit when Johnny, he confidently rose his hand and went to ask Red Velvet a question. And something about that, and I got to give credit to Johnny because he's never done this either, that kind of gave me a little bit more of like, it kind of cooled me down a little bit. It made me relax a little bit. Like, okay, I can do this. Like, I can do this. Like, I can just raise my hand and take a microphone. That was the other thing. I know there's gonna be a microphone, which is also scary. You're kind of holding the mic, is whatever. I know this sounds all silly, but please try putting yourself in my shoes of just, it's very exciting. You don't want to mess it up. You don't want to sound stupid. You don't want to, you don't want to blow the opportunity. So I was very, very nervous in this moment. So Johnny gets through his question like, no problem. Sounds like he's done it a million times. If you want to see the full clip of that and the answer and everything, I'm pretty sure Marissa and or Johnny are going to be making their own vlogs of this. Go check out their channels for more of their experience doing this as well. So while people are asking Red Velvet a question, I look over and you can see that there's like a little area where other wrestlers might be waiting their turn, like they're going to be coming out next. And I see this bald guy. And then I'm like, that's not just any bald guy. Ricochet was coming up next. So this was going to be a do or die moment. I was terrified. I wanted to extend an olive branch here and really just ask a nice, kind question and really try to fix whatever it is that's going on between us. Now, to my own credit, this is a moment where I will say I am proud of myself, because with how terrified I was, when they asked, is there any questions? My first thought was, this is Ricochet. Everybody's going to want to ask him questions. My hand shot up pretty quick. I didn't want to miss an opportunity. I didn't want the reason that I didn't get to do it and didn't get to take my shot to be that I waited and like to see a few or something. And this was also a situation where I was like, I'm just going to put, as much as I don't feel confident yet, I'm just going to put my hand up, and they're going to pick on me. And then I'm just going to have to figure it out. Like, it's going to be sink or swim, like tossing myself in the pool. Because once the hand's up, they're coming, and you can't say never mind. So they hand me the microphone, and
First of all, congratulations on your first national title defense. Dalton Castle really seemed to take you and push you to your limit. What does that do for your confidence going forward? Nearly losing your title like that.
Harmless question. Came very close to losing his title in his first defense. I think it is fair to just ask, hey, did that shake you up a little bit? Anything going on with the confidence? And well,
that's not stupid. I don't think it's a
security didn't throw him out.
What does that do for your confidence going forward? Nearly losing your title like that.
Nearly losing, brother. Listen to me. All mental. It's all mind games. Just as much as you think it's physical, it's all mind games. I was reeling them in the whole time. I knew what I was doing before the music even hit. I already knew the outcome. Almost losing. Stupid. My confidence is through the roof. What are you talking about? My confidence is higher than it's ever been. I got a water. I got my title. What else do I need? I just need my wife here.
Felt rude, to be honest. It felt a little rude. Didn't thank me for my question. There was no, I don't know. I feel like a champion should hold themselves to a standard that's a little bit higher, just a little bit higher. And then has the audacity to do this to his boss and coworkers.
Got him.
Thank you, Jim.
Got him.
Oh my God. I just don't get it. Be better, Ricochet. Be better. Okay, all that aside, yeah, I asked my question, and I was I was terrified. And even when I started talking, I didn't fully feel locked in, but also looking back, I don't really remember asking. But I feel like I managed. I don't feel like I remember recognizing in my head, like, oh God, don't mess this up. Don't stutter. Don't screw up here. But I fought through. And it doesn't seem like much. And I'm going to get a little bit of hate, which I've seen some hate. I've seen already the hate on Twitter when I posted about it. Like, oh, how did this guy get credentials? Why? There's so many other people that have been waiting. Like, listen, I just applied and I went. I was so happy I did it though. Like, applying for the credentials that was already kind of scary enough, going and showing up to the press conference thing and asking a question. Like, I know this probably sounds so stupid, but like, it was an intimidating environment. It was something, not that they made it intimidating, but I just so badly didn't want to mess this up. I was so grateful, and I still am so grateful that somebody in my position was given that kind of an opportunity. And I don't know if I'll ever get it again. I don't know what to make of it exactly. That's not like there's not like a progress report afterwards of how you did or anything. So you just kind of hope you did okay. And I really do hope that I get to do something like that someday again, because I think I can get better at it. And I think I can get better at taking notes during the show and coming up with questions. And I saw some dude to my left. I didn't get to talk to him, but he had like a notepad and he was like writing questions down and like scratching some out if it didn't make any sense anymore, I guess. But it kind of hit me like I really enjoyed doing that. I really enjoyed that. And I never knew that I would enjoy that. I knew I liked doing interviews, but asking questions like that after a show, that was really cool. And no, I didn't ask any more questions, to be honest. I didn't feel comfortable asking questions about wrestlers that I had just seen perform for the first time today. And other people had really good questions. Mitty and Nate had great questions. Even Marissa ended up asking a question, which she was so brave. Not even any part of her was terrified while she was waiting her turn, even slightly. So that was just, it was a really cool moment. And shout out Tally for pushing me to do that, because I was just going to sit and record and get a little bit of content. And I was just going to tell you guys I was there, and that was cool. But her pushing me and giving me the confidence to actually ask a question. I keep talking about it. I know it sounds like it's like, oh, you just asked a question to a microphone. Maybe some people will understand, maybe some won't, but that was really cool. There's more to talk about, but I will remember that. That was just so cool, and I really hope I get to do it again. Thank you, AEW, ROH, whoever it was that gave me the thumbs up, because thank you. So that press conference ends up going for like an hour and a half. We didn't end up leaving there until like between 2 and like 3. Sometime between 2 and 3 a.m. Which, doesn't mean, it means we're not going to get a lot of sleep, because we got to be back here at a somewhat decent time the next day. So go home, go back to the Airbnb, get some rest, come back. And now GalaxyCon is way busier than it was the day before. So this is probably the day I got sick, which makes sense. Well, that was good timing. But I also randomly bumped into Wheeler Yuta, which was cool. So we ended up just kind of hanging out, getting some lunch, and just waiting for it to be time to go to Collision. Same location, obviously, same spot where ROH was. We sat in pretty much the same spots, I think like one row closer, so that was cool. On that day, I actually got to see the merch table. The day before, I didn't even know there was a merch table. The way we came in, the way they had there's like a media entrance, or at least a side that we walked in. I completely missed the merch table. So getting to see the merch table day 2, I'll put it on the screen for anybody who cares, and maybe you're going to a show soon, you want to see what kind of stuff they're putting for sale. That was what it was like for Collision. Some pretty decent stuff, and we ended up buying a couple things, which I will show you now. I don't know if that looked cool, but Tally got this t-shirt. It says AEW with some bloody barbed wire. The back says it's for the sickos. Big fan of this one as well. This is this black and pink Kyle Fletcher Protostar shirt, which I think looks pretty cool as well. I got another one of these hats, slightly different color. It's just like white or gray instead of black. So that's some pretty good stuff there. Some pretty good merch there. Actually, speaking of the merch table, at the end of the show, me and Johnny were over at the merch table just kind of checking it out. And since this was like the end of the show, I think this was when they were doing Ring of Honor matches. So place kind of cleared out a little bit. There was nobody really near the merch table at all. It was just kind of an empty space. And while we're just standing there, we hear behind us, buy the Death Rider shirt. I was like, damn, turn around. It's Claudio Castagnoli. He was done for the day, and he walked by us and saw us looking. He encouraged us to buy the Death Rider shirt. That was pretty funny. Actually, what makes that even more funny is that he told us to buy the Death Rider shirt, and on the wall, I think you can probably see in the video next to it on the top right was a Claudio shirt. So he didn't even tell us to buy his shirt. He was a team player and said buy the Death Rider shirt. So good guy, Claudio. Anyway, Collision was really cool. It was a lot of fun. They ended up having. I don't want to undersell this Collision. It was probably one of the better Collisions. Actually, it was the best Collision I've seen because I haven't seen a ton of Collisions. I'm usually watching Dynamite. I try to catch some Collisions if I can, but this was as good as any Dynamite I've ever seen. I think having the C2 tournament really elevates any show, just because there's stakes that anybody could win. It's not just a title match where like, well, you're probably going to defend it because it's only Collision kind of thing. So that was really cool. There's also some kids that were sitting in the front row. I didn't get this on video, but I love that these kids were getting that front row experience because there was a few heels that would like yell at them and tell them to sit down. And the kids, I think they thought they were really in trouble. It was adorable. They were like, oh, sorry. And they went and sat in the chair like they thought they got in trouble. So that was funny. It was cool seeing them get like the interacting with a heel experience. I thought that was cool. And then Ricochet has a match again on Collision. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. It's, I know he kind of overreacted a little bit. He might have just been stressed when I asked him that question. And I was like, maybe he's feeling a little bit different now. Maybe he saw that I was just trying to have a heart to heart and see how his confidence was doing after such a good match. And instead of, waving hi, instead of like, hey, good to see you, buddy. He kicks me out of the show. So obviously I am upset. I'm thinking I'm not going to see any of the rest of the show. He points me out and just tosses me out like he thinks he can do that, which apparently he can. So I have to leave. Thankfully, I did find a secret tunnel that led back in, so I was able to catch the rest of the show. I just kind of ducked whenever he looked in my direction just so I wouldn't get in trouble. Last thing I want to say about this Collision in general is that the main event was Takeshita versus Jon Moxley. Wow. That was a C2 match. That could have main evented. That could have easily main evented a Dynamite, and that would have absolutely been a pay-per-view match. They went the distance of almost 20 minutes, the 20-minute limit, and it was such a banger. And it was so 50-50 because while Moxley might be a heel, he's been losing lately, and this also took place in his home state of Ohio. So there was a really cool like 50-50 crowd, and it made that match all the more enjoyable. It was electric. It was really cool. Once Collision ended, they did what they normally do, which usually Collision or Dynamites will have pre-show and post-show matches by ROH, and that's how they record for the future episodes. There's only one thing I really, really want to talk about with the post-show ROH is they opened it by they were going to celebrate Athena's victory and having like 1,000 however many days, and they go around and they hand some people some streamers, that people win, they throw it, and it's like a celebratory thing, and Tally got to do it. Tally was all prepared for this too. She had watched like a video by Will Ospreay kind of instructing you on like the right way to do it, and she was all prepped. Like we waited all through Athena's speech. They said to wait until he throws it, and then everybody who had one could throw it. And so I was really excited for her because she had prepared for this moment.
Thank you, Will. I know. Pull over now. Go over the wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Over the wrestler.
I got you. And then when the moment came,
Let's go, minions!
Did it go under the bottom rope?
maybe we're probably gonna do a little bit differently next time, but this was a good first toss. I feel like this was a good first try. Regardless of the throw, it was really cool. It was just one more thing you got to experience for the first time. Like this is all these little things I'm telling you. This was just, it all really added up to make this just a unique experience, and it was just so much damn fun. I don't know if I'm ever going to get this opportunity again. I don't know if I don't know. I just don't know, which is why I really just wanted to kind of live in that moment. I really wanted to enjoy this. I had a blast. I know Tally had a blast, and I had so much fun with Johnny and Marissa, and if anybody who's friends with those channels. They were, again, such helpful guides and like taking us places to eat and like showing us around and just making being in a strange city so much easier than just kind of showing up and wandering around trying to figure it out. So seriously, thank you so much to those two for just everything that made those last 3 days just so much easier and more enjoyable. We really enjoyed it. And thank you all for watching and honestly being a reason why this happened, especially you guys over on the Patreon. We watch wrestling matches over there just about every single day. So if you want to see us watch matches for the first time that might be some of your favorites from previous years, that's where that's happening just about every single day. So please, check it out. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for putting us in this position that we even have the opportunity to do this, even if it's just for the one time. You guys have made the last 2 years the coolest 2 years of my entire life. So I wouldn't trade any of this for just about anything. So thank you so much. We'll end the video like we did in the last vlog. You can see us pick up our dog who was away from us for about 4 total days. He missed us very much. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys down in the comments. If you have any questions, please ask. I'll see you in the Discord. I'll see you on Twitch. I'll see you wherever you might want to hang out and maybe ask about the trip. So thank you so much once again. Bye.
Let's go.
Oh my God.
Come here. There's you.
Hi.